For Scorpios comes a time of momentous change, when the horizons of possibilities expand to incredible proportions. What before seemed only a dream, takes tangible forms, and all the obstacles on the way to the desired goal disappear, as if by magic. There comes a period when everything superfluous and outdated goes into the past, giving way to new endeavors worthy of all the efforts made. The universe provides a unique chance, for whole years without any restrictions, so that everyone can fully enjoy life and realize their potential. Mercury, like a key, opens the gates to happiness, giving unlimited opportunities for success and prosperity. June 3, 2025 will be a truly momentous date when a parade of 6 planets, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, line up. In astrology, such alignments symbolize a global reset, but for Scorpios it's not just an upgrade, but rather the activation of full alert mode. The fate of Scorpios is under the scrutiny of these 6 giants, which means that no action will be without consequences. Mercury endows thinking with a special sharpness and precision, discarding all unnecessary doubts and hesitations. Scorpio men in this period will be especially intolerant of their own indecision, which, like a straw, will burn in the flames of new opportunities. Decisions will be made quickly and confidently, without much thought and doubt. Words will become hard and direct, devoid of any equivocation. Scorpios will take what is theirs by right, without wasting time on explanations and excuses. Mars gives a sense of active participation, getting rid of humiliating submission. From now on, there is no need to put up with other people's rules. One should work according to one's own vision. Communication should be exclusively business and purposeful. Men born under the sign of Scorpio become extremely unyielding to those who are accustomed to pressuring them. All previous concessions and compromises are now going back, and it is not possible to reverse this process. Astral support reaches unprecedented power. For Scorpio women, Jupiter symbolizes not so much progress as a thorough reckoning with the past, manifesting not in the form of retaliation against wrongdoers, but in the form of abandonment of former roles. There is no longer a desire to adapt, fight for favor or prove their importance. All of that is in the past. Now their path lies where they are immediately noticed, accepted for who they are, and ready to invest their resources, emotional, financial, whatever. Uranus provokes a real upheaval, especially in the lives of women. Blindly following the instructions of the system becomes physically unbearable. There is a need for your own business, which no one can take away. And this need is realized. Scorpio women create an autonomous space for themselves. This is not a fleeting impulse, but an internal ultimatum, either according to their rules, or no way. Neptune stops misleading. All the illusions that Scorpios have been acquiescing to are crumbling. Men and women of this sign acquire a firm inner no, free of fear and guilt. They no longer feel the need for understanding from those who have never tried to understand them. Energy is no longer spent on re-educating others, but is carefully saved for personal purposes and needs. Astrologers note that the 3rd house of the horoscope of Scorpio is activated, representing not just a sphere of communication, but an arena for quick decisions, favorable deals and financial breakthroughs. It is here that representatives of this sign demonstrate their ability to get ahead of events, disproving common misconceptions. First, the assertion of Scorpio's reticence, allegedly preventing the achievement of financial success, does not stand up to criticism. Scorpios prefer point actions, avoiding unnecessary fuss, which allows them to effectively concentrate on the main thing. Secondly, the myth of Scorpion's aggressiveness, scaring away clients, is also untenable. On the contrary, their straightforwardness attracts solvent and serious clients who are ready for honest cooperation. Third, contrary to the belief that Scorpios are incapable of sharing, they are generous to deserving people, guided by respect rather than a sense of obligation. Fourth, the talent of Scorpios does not fade, but only accumulates strength, so that at the right moment triumphantly show themselves, compensating for past failures. Astrologers predict that 2025 will be for Scorpios a period of recovery of energy lost since 2013. Negative influences will disappear, giving way to new opportunities. On June 8, Mercury entering Cancer will affect Scorpio's first house, marking a period of deep inner reassessment. This is not just a transformation, but a moment of truth, when Scorpios will appear unmasked and unadorned. Under the influence of this transit, hidden beliefs, fears, and limitations will become apparent, allowing Scorpios to clearly recognize their individuality, separating their own aspirations from those imposed from the outside. When Mercury is in Cancer, it helps to reveal hidden aspirations, especially those that the individual has been suppressing not because of fears, but because of excessive self-control. Scorpios, as a rule, have considerable inner strength, but they often lack the courage to allow themselves to use it to the fullest. During this period, they get the opportunity to act freely, not needing external approval and not subject to any restrictions. Scorpio man, accustomed to be guided by the principle of silence is gold, suddenly realizes that his restraint has become a kind of confinement. He begins to express his thoughts openly and straightforwardly, saying everything that previously preferred to keep silent, and breaking off relationships where before he showed patience. Astrologically, this can be interpreted as an activation of the throat chakra through the control of the first house of the horoscope, which is a key point for Scorpios. What is said must be translated into action. The Scorpio woman who lacks emotional intimacy and understanding gets a chance for a romantic relationship devoid of humiliation, compromise and the need to pretend. Even if she is over 50, a man appears in her life who accepts her as she is and understands her without too many words. This is possible thanks to the influence of Mercury in Cancer, which allows her to read emotions and feelings without distortion. The first astrological house is a reflection of the essence of man, his true self. In this period of life, a typical representative of the sign of Scorpio begins to decisively get rid of everything that violates his inner harmony. It is not only about the breakup with certain people, but also about the refusal of those roles that had to perform for the sake of preserving the well-being of the family, financial stability, or peace of mind of others. Scorpio stops living illusions about the future, realizing that time is a valuable resource, not just an irretrievable waste. From here arise quite specific actions, leaving the relationship, which are burdensome and deprive the life force, moving to a place where you can breathe freely, the choice of work, where decent pay for labor, and not suck energy. Many Scorpios at this time for the first time see their true reflection in the mirror, without embellishments and masks, and with satisfaction state, "This is how I have always dreamed of being, and now it is obvious to everyone." And this is not about appearance or fashionable clothes, but about the way a person enters a room, attracting the attention of others. All the things that once had to be held back become powerful weapons. However, there is also the other side of the coin, associated with the influence of the ninth house, responsible for the consequences. Scorpio men who lead a double life, full of secrets and intimate relationships, should remember the risk of paying dearly for it. And we are not talking about mythical karma, but about very real situations when the truth comes out. Mercury, which is in the sign of Cancer, aggravates the emotional atmosphere in the family, making lies unforgivable. For the double game inevitably comes the reckoning. This should be taken seriously. In June 2025 will be destroyed those illusory structures in which Scorpio naively believed that everything is under control. While the world around him continues to live its life, in the depths of the subconscious Scorpio awakens the fifth house, the abode of fears, forgotten truths, and hidden shadows. It is here, in the labyrinths of his own self, Scorpio begins to discern the true obstacles to happiness. These are not external enemies or vicissitudes of fate, but internal barriers erected by the mind itself. Fear of going unnoticed, like a shadow, chased for years, now loses its power. Scorpio freed from the shackles of other people's opinions, gaining the ability to see and understand himself as he is in fact. The fear of losing loved ones, once paralyzing the will, no longer constrains the movements, for Scorpio learns to let go of intrusive thoughts and do not cling to the past. The fear of showing weakness, which once seemed insurmountable, turns into a source of strength. Recognizing his vulnerability, Scorpio becomes invulnerable, as if encased in the armor of humility. This process marks the inclusion of the complete astrological cycle, when all elements of the universe merge in unified harmony. Scorpio calls his fears by name, stripping them of their power over him. And when Scorpio's inner world is free of fear, nothing can break his spirit. June 11th is marked by the full moon in Sagittarius, the very strawberry moon whose light penetrates every corner of existence. On this day, the moon touches Scorpio's second house, the realm of values, self-esteem, and personal resources. This is not just a romantic reverie, but a clear astrological moment when personal qualities begin to work as capital. That is, who Scorpio is becomes a source of love, money, support and influence. Scorpios do not belong to those who are loved for their exemplary behavior. They are accepted and appreciated only when they show their strength and do not need approval from the outside. It is this archetype that the moon in the second house activates, affirming the value of the individual without the need to peddle self. We are talking about a profound transformation in the personal life of Scorpios, when forced patience is replaced by a sincere desire to be at home, in the circle of loving people. Representatives of this sign of the zodiac, not inclined to the external manifestation of emotions, have an acute need for authenticity of feelings. The influence of Venus in aspect to the moon awakens in them the desire for home, where reigns not the burden of duty, but joy and affection. If before the partner saw in Scorpio a complex nature, now he discovers the depth, fidelity and genuineness of his nature. This is what gives birth to the very undying passion, which becomes the foundation of a strong relationship. Loneliness recedes, giving way to calmness and confidence in his own importance. The second house of the horoscope, symbolizing self-esteem, under the influence of the moon gives Scorpio a sense of unconditional value. From now on, he does not need constant affirmations of love and comparisons with others. He feels like a whole person, which, paradoxically, attracts real people into his life, not random fellow travelers. Scorpio man stops playing the role of a hero, appearing before the chosen one as he really is. His confidence, stability, and lack of desire to please by all means conquer her heart. Moon awakens sensuality, eliminating the need to prove and verify feelings. Mere presence near becomes the ultimate expression of love and intimacy. Representatives of the sign of Scorpio have an amazing resilience of spirit, but they sometimes need a break from the burden of strength. They allow themselves to feel the need for support and do not see it as a manifestation of weakness. It is this transformation that makes them virtually invulnerable and attractive to others. Open recognition of their needs is no longer perceived as vulnerability, but becomes a kind of signal that awakens in others the desire to protect and help, not just use. During this period, the seventh house of the horoscope is activated, responsible for material well-being, social recognition and triumphs in society. It is not about random luck, but about clear and consistent scenarios that begin to materialize, if Scorpio acts in accordance with his nature, that is, shows independence from other people's opinions. Intuition tells Scorpio the right way, even if it contradicts conventional norms, and that is what brings financial success. Especially profitable are projects where Scorpio acts as an independent leader. Fear of public condemnation should be discarded. At this time, opportunities for career growth through outside influence open up. Although Scorpios are not prone to dependency, there may be a person in their life who can provide support, resources, and advance their career. It is important not to be overly suspicious, but to carefully vet the opportunities offered and accept them if they are in line with goals and values. All chances leading to professional growth and development should be seized. The influence of the seventh house in the astrological chart opens a unique opportunity to enter into a kind of agreement with the higher powers. If a person boldly accepts this challenge and does not retreat, his efforts will be rewarded many times over, which will bring tangible financial success, despite the skeptical predictions of others. Scorpios, as a rule, are not eager to demonstrate their achievements, but have a keen sense of justice. If they were previously underestimated, they are now able to rise to new heights, acting not in a showy manner, but with maximum efficiency. This is the essence of the influence of the seventh house for this sign, not in ostentatious brilliance, but in tangible results achieved in a spectacular way. It is important to emphasize that this is not just a motivational message, but a specific astrological forecast for June 2025. The strawberry moon activates the financial resources of Scorpios, and the seventh house consolidates the moment of restoration of authority. If the representatives of this sign do not turn off the planned path, an impressive breakthrough awaits them within 3 months. A remarkable astronomical event will be the moon covering Mars on June 30th. This rare phenomenon has special significance for Scorpios, as Mars is their ruler. When the moon outshines Mars, external conflicts fade away and Scorpios' inner strength gains full control over their destiny. This period is not just a respite, but a kind of sealed contract for 4 years of personal happiness. The next such moon coverage of Mars will not occur until 2029. Until then, Scorpios are given a unique opportunity to live a life without chaos, a sort of carte blanche where every day should work for them, not against them. In the astrological picture of the world activates the 12th house, which is the abode of personal space, hidden well-being, and the depths of the subconscious. For representatives of the sign of Scorpio, this means getting rid of everything that disturbs the mental balance. There is a release of burdensome memories and attachments without the slightest resistance. People and objects that previously caused irritation lose their importance. This is not due to a sudden display of kindness, but because the astrological field of Scorpio is cleansed, retaining only that which makes sense, is useful and radiates positivity. It is important to note that this is not fleeting luck, but a steady 4-year trend. If Scorpios manage to properly form their environment, arrange their personal space and establish a clear daily routine, they can find long-awaited stability. This astrological forecast is relevant not only for those who have the sun in the sign of Scorpio according to Western astrology. Its influence will also be felt by those whose ascendant is in Scorpio, especially if it falls within the range of 10 to 25 degrees. The moon in Scorpio, especially in natal charts with a strong 4th, 8th, or 12th house, also enhances the effect. In addition, this forecast is also suitable for Scorpios according to Vedic astrology, that is, for those who have the sun in the sign of Vrishchika Rashi. It is also worth mentioning about the sign of Serpentine, which in some systems of astrology is considered as the 13th sign of the zodiac. The sun passes through this sign from about November 29th to December 17th. If you feel the traits of the Serpentine, but at the same time have the temperament of Scorpio, exhibit tight self-control, deep sensitivity, sharp reactions to betrayal and strive for power, it is not accidental. Serpentine, occupying an intermediate position between Scorpio and Sagittarius, energetically intercepts the influence of both signs, but is more attracted to Scorpio. This means that the sign of Scorpio in your horoscope is active, and this forecast may also be relevant for you.